So hello and welcome to my channel. The first thing that some of you will notice is that I have changed my location. I am now in my flat in London. Still locked down, but it'll be a little bit noisier. You might hear some traffic and things in the background, but we shall proceed as ever with a story based on 5 random words, and the 5 random words are... And this story is called Scapegoat. The returning officer announced the results of the 2020 mayoral elections in the Devonshire hamlet of Little Fittock. The room simultaneously erupted into cheers and catcalls, the split being roughly 70% in favour of the former. Whether you were inclined to condemn or celebrate the result, it was an election that all present would remember for a very long time. I hereby announce that the winner of the 2020 election to the position of Little Fittock Mayor with 118 votes is Juniper Lamington III. At this point in the proceedings, the Little Fittock Village Hall, packed to the rafters with almost the entire 200 inhabitants of the parish, would normally have quietened as the incumbent handed over the symbolic scroll and staff to the newcomer, who would then make a suitably rousing speech. However, as Juniper was busy gnawing Neddy Lamington's cloth cap to shreds, having relieved herself on the still steaming flagstones, there would be no symbolic handover today. Nor would there be a speech, of course, since Juniper was Farmer Lamington's prize-winning goat, and goats are nothing if not taciturn. She did at least consent to wearing the resplendent gold chain associated with her office, although that too was subject to a cursory nibble before being abandoned in favour of a dessert of old hymn book. The election, deemed notable enough to feature in the "and finally" section of a local news broadcast, was supposed to be a political provocation. For more than a decade, Little Fittock had seen an influx of city hipsters, desperate to get away from it all by settling in villages where their money went a lot further and where they were less likely to be robbed, ripped off or choked with carbon monoxide particulates. The elder stalwarts of the hamlet looked on disapprovingly as the new young residents began to overthrow the old assumptions and moribund traditions. One of these was the annual election of a mayor from the village's oldest aristocratic family, the Wilmington Smythes. Being an advocate of both fox hunting and capital punishment, Ronald Wilmington Smythe, entrenched in a long-running feud over right-of-way with Neddy Lamington, didn't stand a chance on re-election once the farmer persuaded the committee to allow his favourite goat to stand for election. Under a banner reading simply "Get My Goat," Lamington and his hipster allies ran a lively social media campaign with regular video updates of Jasmine's antics, which generally involved headbutting things, defecating on them or chewing them to pieces. When the targets of her ire were "Trespassers will be prosecuted" signs hung passively aggressively by old footpaths, or Little Fittock hunt gathering flyers, the likes, shares and retweets ensured the campaign became nationally celebrated, and Jasmine's election was a shoo-in. Of course, now that she had won the mayorship, the question remained, how best to employ her. Given that the village's combined population could fit comfortably in a medium-sized wedding marquee, the role was scarcely taxing. The mayor, or in this case mayoress, would open the annual village fete, the agricultural show, welcome visiting dignitaries, few and far between, and generally gad about wearing peculiar robes and a tricorn hat. Jasmine couldn't easily be persuaded into the ceremonial ermine, at least not if you wanted to keep all your fingers. Plus, she ate one of the 3 corners of the tricorn hat, so dressing her appropriately was out of the question. The chain of office was fashioned into a reasonably sensible collar, and that would have to do. At the village fete, she successfully saw off some drunken yobs who had driven over from the neighbouring and more boisterous hamlet of Greater Fittock, giving their ringleader a decisive butt which sent him cartwheeling across the village green and into the duck pond. At the annual farmers' market prize giving, Jasmine judged the best marrows and onions categories by biting into her favoured selections. These were then extricated from the belligerent mayor's mouth in time for the prize-giving photographs. which were rendered additionally surreal when Jasmine took against the photographer and butted him off stage midway through his group shot of the great and good of Little Fittock, many of whom he captured merely from the nose up, as his body described a graceful arc into the soft fruit display tables. Unpredictably, Jasmine took offence to the retired rocker and new village resident Jamie Page's new cosmic blues direction when she mounted a stage invasion during his set at the Little Fittock Folk Festival, primarily with the intention of eating the hay bale Page was perched upon. This was deemed ironic by the local paper, given Page's one-time fondness for goat-loving Satanists. The subsequent face-off between Stratocaster-wielding pensioner and cloven-hooved mayor was captured on video and went predictably viral, doing a vast amount to enlarge the event's reputation. By the end of the year, the Christmas markets were teeming with Jasmine-branded merchandise, including t-shirts, mugs, goatee banks, a variation on the porcine norm, and of course Rampant Goat IPA, courtesy of the latest hipster microbrewery that had sprung up behind the Lamb's Head pub. Curried goat was banned from the menu of the Michelin-starred Fittock Hotel's brasserie. Jasmine's ascendancy was complete and incontrovertible, and other villages began to follow suit, voting into office prize porkers, donkeys, and even a chicken called a melder. None threatened Jasmine's status in terms of media-friendly popularity, largely due to her unpredictable and intractable personality. She even had her own Instagram account with 7,000 followers. All in all, once the year was up and it came time to vote once more for Little Fittock Mayor, Ronald Wilmington Smythe didn't deign to stand. "What hope do I have against Jasmine?" he opined in a statement to the Little Fittock Gazette. "She's literally a force of nature, and although I hold her responsible for all that's wrong with this town, it seems I'm in a distinct minority." And that is why a goat is mayor of Little Fittock to this day. The end. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed that first tale of my London tenure. And if you did, subscribe, possibly watch another video, and tell your friends, and I shall see you again soon. Bye-bye.